So for people that haven't played this, there's a lot of like different build variety things that you can do. So it obviously starts off with like the class that you choose, which one of these skills you decide that you're going to like level up. Every time that you get a level, you can put a point in one of the 4 main skills that you have. You can make your champion strike do more, or the shield toss, or the area of effect. This is like one where they jump and she does like this AoE taunt thing, or this one is a big damage reflect where she puts a shield up in front of her. And she kind of plays like a mix between like Garen and Braum, I guess, if you play League. Her primary role is a tank, though, and like she has this passive thing called Vanguard that says like she gets a 3% bonus to armor and magic resist for each enemy up to 6 that are within like 4 meters of her. And then each stack of defender gets 3.2% aggro generation. So her whole thing is like she's supposed to be a tank. Like she's supposed to piss people off and make them attack her. And then weapon specialization bonus, it says 0.3 to aura radius. So that's for weapon specialization. So all of the customization things come down to like gear selection and then like talent choices. So gear selection is like the first 2 slots here are like sword and then shield. So you can get all kinds of different weapons and different shields, and they all have like different passives with random rolls on them. For this one, for instance, it's got a socket. So if you hit control right mouse, there's like this socket that comes up called Executioner's Edge. So there's a bunch of these different mods that you can put into these sockets, which have their own ammo counts, so that when it procs, if and when it procs, it uses 1 point of ammo. So it can be anywhere between 10 or like 1,000, I guess. I don't know. I've seen 100. And then there's these ammo rechargers that you burn in order to be able to like fill these back up, so that way you have more proc chances. And then there are 6 implant slots. So these are anything from like bonus health to attack power to magic power to mana amounts, health pool, spell power. Like there's like every main stat that there is in the game, you can have an implant that augments it. And then for each level of rarity, it adds an extra like random affix on it. So like these purple ones have 3 extra random affixes. So that's more tailoring, and then they roll from 1 to 5 stars for each affix, so you can see like where the RNG starts taking place, right? The end game is like finding treasure chests in like high level areas that get like decent implants that roll better. And then what you do is you put like these, I don't know, they're like the runes or whatever, that you can add to up to 2 of them. So this first one says when you take damage over 30% of your health in 3 seconds, it gives me a shield. And then this one says after using an ability, the next attack deals 26 additional physical damage once, and that can trigger once every 2.5 seconds. So it gives me like a little bit of damage and then like a little bit of like, I don't know, a little bit of a safety net for somebody that hits me with a haymaker. In addition to that, there's also like these secondary talents. So right here it says like you can have subclasses: hunter, assassin, medic, mage, pathfinder, a support, tank, warrior, looter, crafter. So I chose warrior for the first one, and then for each level you're like picking, all right, you have a warrior talent that primarily is about doing like in your face like bruiser style of damage. How do you want that talent to be applied? And then you choose between all of these different options, and this is every level starting at level 5 going up through to level 10. And then when you get to level 10, you get to choose like another subclass. So in this case, I noticed that I wanted to do more damage because like even though I'm a tank, I'm still playing solo and I'm trying to kill stuff faster. There also gives me some stuff that gives me like a little additional movement speed and stuff, and I get like additional attack power if I kill stuff, yada yada yada. And then as I've been playing, I've noticed that like my mana pool gets exhausted kind of fast using all the abilities that I've got. So I went for like mana regen and cooldown reduction. So like this one says, I get mana regen by 5% for each ability that's on cooldown. So if I spam my abilities right quick and burn them all, then I get faster mana regen. This is after I kill an enemy, abilities have their cooldowns reduced by 2 seconds. So for every enemy that I drop, my cooldowns come back a little bit faster, which actually leads me to this where I've got to choose something a little bit better. A shield, 10% of max mana. The shield recharges after 10 seconds out of combat. That's actually kind of badass, because that would give me another, like, it's not a lot. It would give me another, like, 75 health, but damage or dealing. Healing abilities restore 2% of the damage dealt or healing done as mana. If I'm doing damage, right, if I have a skill that hits for 250, then I get, what, like 10 mana would come back. Cooldown reduction of all abilities, 10%. So I'm probably going to go for CDR just so that I have more abilities that I can spam. So you hit apply and it comes back. And then next level, I get to pick one of these because I'm level, what, 13? So at 14, I'll pick this, and at 15, I pick this, and then I get to choose like what my next subclass is going to be. And then on top of that, there's weapon mastery. So you get like these little, I don't know, these things, these catalysts, and they're on-use items. They give weapon specialization XP, so you just use them. The ones that I've seen are like 40, and then there's one for 200, and then I'm sure there's like larger ones than that based on like how far along in the game you are. So you go to weapon mastery, and then there's like this XP bar. Every time you get a level, you get a point, and then you can pick like where in these trees you want to put it. And you can see like they have like little crossbar dealies where you can go down to like a cross, or you can just stay in a straight line. In my case, I just opted for Champion Strike because it gave me more movement speed when I use Champion Strike, because it, like I said, she's like Garen. So when I hit this, it gives me like more movement speed, and then you do like this dive attack on somebody. Also, when you hit people, it gives you like a passive charge that adds like more defense for every one of the special abilities that strikes an enemy, and like the charges can stack up, so you have like increasing levels of damage reduction. So there's like faster movement, and then this one says 0.15 incoming damage reduction per stack, so each point gives me like a little bit more damage reduction for every like little stack I put on, which is what this, like the defender tree. And then at the end, there's like, the ultimate passives. During an ability, the defender can leap to my allies, shielding them with a protective shield, or like I can put up a celestial barrier that like makes a bubble over the top of everybody, and it like, does damage reduction. Like that's the whole point, is being a tank. So there's like a lot of customization stuff where you could have a tank that primarily does more damage oriented stuff by stacking ability power, or you could kind of like make them a little bit more spongy by giving them a bunch of like plus health gear, and everything in between. So in my case, I've just opted to do like a little bit of extra mana. The spell power thing isn't so much. I grabbed this because it gives me mana regen, because I'm trying to like keep my mana up, and then obviously like I'm going for like more points of attack power and a couple of health additions and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so like that's just for the defender, and then like obviously there's all the other classes that come along too. So kind of cool though, man. I like all of the tailoring and like options that you have to be able to modify all the characters and classes and stuff. It's pretty cool.